Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we are going to talk about accessible PDFs. And accessible PDFs is something that has been around for about 10 years, at least the specification has been around for 10 years. But now some governments are requiring that documents that are sent to them for archiving needs to be accessible. So that is why we have been looking into it a little bit more, and I have been playing around with it and also created some stuff around it. So I would like to talk about how it looks and how it works. So let's switch over here, and on my screen now you see my little accessible PDF example here, a way of creating the PDF. We also have this little validator, and the validator is using Vera PDF. Which is a very simple little tool in order to validate your PDF. So you create a validate provider here. Then I will take my file and I will create a parser. I will parse the flavor, and here I can choose a particular flavor. Depending on if the flavor is told in the PDF and in many cases, PDF UA1 is the one that you want to run. PDF U2 is the newer version that came out last year. And that specification hasn't really been implemented in the validator or so yet. So I would say that PDF1 is the one that you want. So accessible PDF 1 is the one to go with. And it also is using the PDF version 1.7, and PDF UA2 is using PDF version 2. So then we will create this validator, and we will validate, get the result, and if it's compliant, we print out compliant. And if I run this, I will get the output compliant here in down here. So how did I create this compliant PDF then? I'm using a PDFBox. It's something that I use every day in my work. So first off, you need to set a page number and ID number. So this is an ID of all the marked content you have in your PDF. You can either tag and mark things as artifacts, and then they are not a part of the structured document. They could be shown, but they are not part of the actual things that should be accessible. So if you have some graphical thing that doesn't really matter, it could be an artifact. If you have a header, on the other hand, it should be tagged as such. And then we'll create a document here. I will create an array with all the objects on the page. This is not really required. It's something extra I do. So that is something we will keep track on and then save to the document later on. We will set the version 1.7, set the language, in this case I set the Swedish. And then we will have the document information. We set my PDF title, the creator and producer. You need to set creator and producer and title, and those needs to be in the metadata as well, but you could add more metadata if you want. So we will create a page here, and then we will create a couple of objects here. Tabs, not required strictly, but we will create it anyway. And then we will have structured parents set to the current page number. Not required either. Well, I will set it there anyway. It's a good thing to add to your page object. Next up, we have the metadata. So here I will write in a little bit of XML, and this is not the best way to do it. Of course, you should create a real XML document and write it down, but in this case, I just did some testing here. So the important part is to have a title with the language. You need to have the creator tool, and that needs to be the same as your creator. You need to have the producer, same as the above. You need to set the version, the same as above. And here we have this PDF UA ID, and it should be 1. So that's the part version. So you can say that this is version 1. And then you also need to use all of the different XML namespaces in order to handle this document. But those are all specified in the specification. So you write that in, Next up, we will set that to our document catalog. It's where we have all our pages. We will add the metadata there. We also need to set viewer preferences and say that we want to display the doc title. That is the minimal requirement of viewer preferences. Of course, you can add more of them if you want. So we set that to our document catalog as well. We also need to tell the document catalog that this document is marked. So marked info, set marked to true, we add that, and in that case it knows that it will look for these kind of markings. We need a structure root. This is where we'll create all the structure of the document so we can tell what different parts we have in the document. Next up, I just create a font so I can print something on screen. And I will create this page content stream where I actually will add all the elements to, or the actual document. Next up, I will create in this document structure root a document with a part and a section. Doesn't really matter. In this case, you just need to have a document in the root, and then you can add other elements beneath it. So I created somewhat of a structure just so I had something to demonstrate. You can also set the role map, not strictly required either. And then we will go through here and create some text. So first off, I will create this content marked a dictionary where I will set this MCID, so the first ID, and it needs to start at 0 and it needs to be continuous. So that is something that tripped me up in the beginning. And then you can just say that this is some kind of paragraph element P, and then you put in this marked content dictionary, and that will create that part of the structure. And then I will save the graphic state, set the font, begin text, write a new line, and restore the graphic text and end this marked content. So this is pretty much just a PDF document as PostScript. Next up, I will take this, we'll create a new H1, so this is a heading, and I will set the current page to that structured element, and I will add this marker with the page to that structured element and add that to my section. Next up, I will add the structured element here as objects on page, as I said, not strictly required, and I will close and add that page. Last is I will create a tagged elements list here with this objects on page, and then I will set some number tree roots here and the parent tree root and so on. Not strictly required either, but I will do that. And last but not least, save the document with no compression. So accessible PDFs are not allowed to have any compression per default. So if we then switch over here and look at how it actually looks, here we have this first line. This is how it looks in your viewer. But if we go to the actual internal structure, we have the info here where we have creator, producer, my title. In the root catalog, we have the marked info where we set true. We have the metadata. This is the XML document that we created. We have the pages. This is the normal page structure that you always have with all the kids and so on. And on the page here, of course, we added this structured elements and tabs S, which is not strictly required, but a part of the document of the specification. But here is the new part, the structured tree root, and in this we will have something called K, where the document is, and then K again, which is the part, then K again, which is the H1, and the last here we have this marked content reference. And in the H1, the marked content reference will point to MCID1 on this particular page. So that is how the structure is set up in the document, and it's how you make a document that it goes from non-accessible PDF to accessible PDF. There is, of course, a lot more into this specification, but the main part here is that giving the more structural data and more metadata to a document makes it easier for a reader applications in order to read and display the content in a more accessible way and helping the reader to understand the document. So this was what I wanted to cover today. I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that you learned something today. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you want to support the channel, there are donation links and affiliate links in the description down below. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. And I really hope to see you in the next video.